Hi guys, welcome back to Uncharted Destiny. The project of the day today is going to be fixing some of the cracked roof seals that are on my camper. I have gathered a whole bunch of supplies and I'm going to walk you through some of the stuff that I have to do. First off, we have the Dicor brand self-leveling lap sealant, and that's going to be this stuff right here. Now they make self-leveling and they make non-self-leveling. The self-leveling is what we're going to use for the roof because it kind of spreads out into all the nooks and crannies. The non-self-leveling, non-sag sealant is what we're actually going to use on the sides of the camper. Next up, we have a heat gun to get off some of the stubborn caulk and dry out the area thoroughly. Some denatured alcohol to prep our work surfaces, along with some rags, some soapy water, and you'll see what I use that for later, but it's going to be to smooth out the new caulk. Some various scraping and cleaning tools that we have here, and of course some rubber gloves, which I'm going to need to keep my hands safe. So I will get you guys back up there when I am up the ladder. I don't want to try to use the camera while I'm climbing up the ladder because that just seems like a terrible idea for somebody as accident prone as I am. So I will see you guys back up there. Alright, so I have this seal along the roof rack up here, and I already did a test drive and tried to take off some of the caulk. It is not very easy when you're just using the tools on the cold caulk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the heat gun. Sorry, it's a little bit loud. So what I've been doing is just holding it on the actual tool to heat up the tool, and then it actually cuts through the old caulk like butter. Alright, so I got most of the caulk off on this section here. It's going to take me a while to do everything, but I'm going to do it in sections in case the weather turns. So I've done this whole part of the roof rack, and I actually started on the outside of the camper too. And what I'm doing now is I'm just taking a rag and some of the denatured alcohol and I'm just cleaning the area up. I'm actually using one of my other scrapers to get some of this nasty black stuff off. Easier said than done. And I wouldn't use a metal scraper on my roof this aggressively if I didn't know that it was aluminum. The Lance trailers have the aluminum roofs, so I can use metal tools and not really worry so much. Obviously you can see it scratches a little, but I'd rather have a really clean surface and some scratches than try to keep my roof scratch free and not get it super clean. Try not to fall off the camper. It's always a pro tip. Alright guys, so I am starting to apply some caulk here. A lot easier said than done. So here we are. I'm trying to smooth this out. I've come to the conclusion that I'm terrible at this. I have caulk on my hands, caulk in my hair, caulk on my shirt, caulk on my pants. YouTube's probably... Apparently even my camera has safety settings because it stopped me recording as soon as I was saying that. Anyway, so this is the sort of finished product here, I guess you could say. I'll try to get you a little bit of a close-up. It is definitely not pretty. I actually did the outside first because I wanted some practice. I didn't want to be too terrible for you guys. So I did that first. awful. And then I did the inside. Oh god, I just smeared it. Hey guys, I just finished caulking 2 sides of the roof, and I just wanted to show you what it looks like. I kind of got cut out a lot because it's so cold that my battery and my GoPro kind of kept dying. But yeah, it's not pretty, but it's a lot better than it used to be, and hopefully it dries in this terrible cold, and we'll see how it goes from there. But I'm pretty sure anything is better than the cracked, holy nastiness that was there before. So this is what it looks like, the stuff that I did today. Yeah, it's not perfect, and there's also some particles that got stuck in it, but it is much, much better than where we started, which is this nastiness. So, yeah, and I'll show you what the edges look like. Yeah, that's a good comparison. And actually in this corner there's more caulking, more of the old caulking than there are in a lot of other places where it's pretty cracked and in pretty bad shape. So this and the front seam will be my project the next time I get a little bit of slightly warmer weather. But yeah, that was a day's work today. Definitely took me a while to get the hang of it, but now that I know how, and now that I'm much better with removing the old caulk and using the heat gun and everything, it should go a lot faster next time. But thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video. Hi guys, welcome back. Today's project is removing some of the old caulk and re-caulking. Unfortunately, somebody before me redid the caulk in silicone, which is absolutely horrendous to try to remove because it leaves behind this nasty residue. So I'm redoing it in lap sealant, which is the proper type of sealant, and it's easy to remove, which you have to do every few months to reseal it properly. Let me show you some of the old sealant and what it looks like and why we're taking it off. So this is what the old sealant looks like. It is pretty disgusting and cracked and mildewy, so we are taking that off and putting on new sealant so that this isn't going to get any bad leaks. But I'll give you guys a little bit of a time lapse, and here we go. Well, that's not good. I guess we're going to be having a technical difficulty as my heat gun has just started smoking. Usually beating it up works, but I think that my heat gun is dead. Hopefully I have another one, but stand by. Well, my heat gun is dead for good, so plan B, a hair dryer. Probably not going to work, but it's all I have, so I'll try it. Hey guys, still doing this. It actually takes a lot longer than I thought, especially since the caulk isn't really cooperating with me. I'll show you what I mean in a minute, but first I'm going to do this so you can kind of see what I've been doing. Turns out a pro tip is to make sure that you tape everything off. It makes everything so much nicer, and I will again show you how I started out without the tape and show you what that looked like. And go get my caulking gun. I actually have a little heater that I've been sitting it on so that it stays as warm as possible. This is what I mean when I say that silicone has terrible adhesion to silicone. It just peels right off. There's no real sticking to the silicone underneath, so that's not forming a bond that you want at your seals. So yeah, never gonna use silicone. It's just terrible. So yeah, I'll be getting this off for the next 3 hours. Hi guys, welcome back. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a walk around of the finished product for all of the sealing that I've been doing. It's been a very difficult task, probably I'm going to say one of the hardest things that I'm going to do for the entire time that I'm renovating the camper, just because of the sheer time that it took to do it. I've been waking up every day and working on it for hours for probably weeks now, but let me show you a little bit of what I've been doing. So I have resealed almost every single hatch, every single light, every single jack that is on the camper, with the exception of one window and one tiny hatch that looked like it was pretty new, but doors, taillights, this is the window that I didn't do, and this is the tiny little hatch that I didn't do, just because it looks like the silicone's pretty recent. But aside from that, all of the other windows, the front window, which was definitely fun to reach, the middle window, and of course on the other side, these two windows, that one and the one behind the bush. And then of course every single corner for the camper as well, because those corners were looking pretty rough. So yeah, that's the work that I've been doing. I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching and maybe learned a thing or two, because I know I certainly did. Definitely took a little bit of a learning curve for me to figure out how to do it and how to do it properly. As you guys saw in my first video, it was pretty rough looking, but by the end I kind of got it to look like this. So not too bad. But thanks again for watching, and for the next video I'm actually going to show you how I repaired some damage that I found on the camper. Let me give you a quick look at that. So this was apparently struck in an accident, and they had it fixed, but they didn't have this portion of the camper sealed properly, so this was all rotten wood in here that I had to take out. And now it looks like this. So you'll see what it looked like before and how I made it look this good. Hi guys, I just wanted to make a little video to answer a question that I recently had. Somebody was asking me why it mattered so much what type of caulk you use to reseal your camper when I was telling them about the issues that I was having removing the silicone caulk. From everything that I've read, and I've read way too much about all of this stuff, the force that is applied on the truck camper when it's driving down the road is kind of similar to like having your house in an earthquake for a really long period of time. So essentially it shakes it violently, and all of the seals kind of wear a lot faster because of that. So you have to have a caulk that you can actually remove, or that is really flexible to allow for all of the give and take that movement causes. The Dicor lap sealant that I used and a lot of the other caulks on the market that are specifically designed for RVs can handle that, but some of the silicone that you can buy in the store isn't really designed for that. So as a result, when you caulk your camper with silicone, it does form a very good bond at first, but then all of the movement that the truck camper has to go through when it's driving down the road or off-road or whatever loosens that bond that the silicone has, and it kind of pops it off because it doesn't really have as much flex in it as the Dicor lap sealant. And it also is incredibly difficult to remove. I did some really fast time lapses for my resealing video that you just watched. Those videos took all day, me taking off the silicone caulking. It was absolutely atrocious. It kept basically turning into these little like silicone crumbles. I got a couple different products to help me try to get it off, but it was still just horrible. Versus when I was trying to take off the old lap sealant, the old like Dicor that had been on there in other parts of the camper, it was just completely easy. Just need a little bit of heat and the proper tool and it popped right off. So I know that in the future, when I have to reseal the camper, and apparently you're supposed to check it at least every 6 months, and you're supposed to do like spot checks even more frequently than that, just to look for cracked seals, holes, anything popping off, because if you don't, you could get water damage. So I know that down the line, when I have to reseal or seal over the stuff that I've already done, my life is just going to be so much easier because I don't have to deal with the silicone. So please don't use silicone if you are recaulking a camper or something similar to that. So far as the water damage, that's probably an RV person's worst nightmare. I know it was my worst nightmare when I found a leak and when I found some rotten wood in my camper, because it immediately makes you think, oh God, how much more of this is rotten? How much is my structural integrity going to be, affected by this? So water damage is something that's really serious, and if even just a little bit of water gets in, it can completely ruin the value of your camper and just cause damage could be irreparable. So just make sure that you use the right type of caulk, and just check your camper as often as possible to make sure there's no issues and no cracks in your sealant. And thank you again for watching this video. I've learned so much doing this, as I do for every project for my camper, and I hope that you guys learned a little bit of something too. Thanks for joining me. Hi guys! I just wanted to answer a question that I recently had about resealing the camper. Somebody was asking me why it's so important to have a high quality caulk and cut.